All right. So it's been some time. Maybe like a quick recap would help us. No, that's not what happened. You were not the monsters all along. It turns out that there was a monster though, and that was the monster all along. Yeah, well, eh. I mean, yeah, not genocide, mass murder. You guys did kill a bunch of people at the same time, which generally is what like bombs or big like explosions or bombs of some sort generally are aimed to do, right? The Well, yeah, I mean, you guys used chemical bomb, but it's still a bomb regardless. It's even if it's not like concussive force, it's still a bomb. Took out and so what was the reason for the bomb? So there was you guys came to an island called Goat's Head. Turns out, big surprise, ran by a cult, some fish monster shit. It's very, very unsettling things for you guys to learn. The inspiration was like very Fallout esque, where I thought how Fallout's like on the surface, everything always looks great when you go to like a village or something, but then turns out they're eating people. Um, uh, it's almost every Fallout has this type of stuff. Uh, Oh, does it? Okay. That like also has a Rusalka kidnapped and then using the Rusalka and then okay. Well, for this one, this one, the fish monster, yeah. Every but this sea monster, this version of Yaknath, uses a Rosaka to turn people into more like the fish monster himself or themselves itself by sacrificing people. So it would sacrifice people. They would make they like I think what did I say? It's been so long. So how it works is the sacrifice is tied up, and then I think no. The Yaknath isn't get doesn't get involved with the sex part. Yeah, like so the Rosaka. No. No. It's how it works is yeah. So how it works is the person that's supposed to be tainted that they're tainted through the interaction with the Rosaka, now which is like a water nymph that's very powerful. And then what Yaknaf does is he takes that energy, that sexual, spiritual energy, and in some shape or form consumes it, and then kills the whatchamacallit, sacrifice, and lays his eggs or lays their eggs inside the corpse. So one of the things that you guys fought in the wilds, I think those like Murloc things, um, offsprings of Yaknath. I don't think you guys put that together, but it's okay. Uh, it's not really worth putting together. But anyways, so this quote got together on the full moon. You guys, well, pretty much had this plan with these pirates that are also trying to take over Goat's Head. That fell through. Fancy Tom Will Staggers and his crew at least got obliterated by the cult, and you guys barely escaped. Well, escaped fine, but Nox almost died, and his uncle Reynold Jeru also died. Then you guys escaped, came back after the next full moon because when they do these rituals now. Brought the death vials with you, death fog vials with you. Dropped one, and killed essentially half the village in one swoop. Gained a massive amount of XP for that. So, but there's just normal normies, so you didn't get. Hey, man, I mean, people used to bring children to hangings, and those were pretty violent and brutal. It's just okay. Man. All right. So, anyways, sometimes I hate you, Mickle. No, I'm joking. So, anyways, do you guys like pretty much did that? Followed Eligana Moizan and her crew, destroyed her, like just beat her to a pulp. Based on her info, you guys went to the shop. And I think you always going to head to the shop because like that's one of the places in the island where had a significant amount of loot, and in this time, I know loot isn't really necessarily on your characters' minds. Maybe it is, but I knew it was on your minds, and I knew at least one or a couple of you had the thought of like, if since this is all going down, what about the shop and the contents? Yeah, yeah. But hey, I mean, like you're betraying a cult. That's like you betraying the mafia. Oh, like keeping word to the mafia. Like whatever. Who gives a fuck? I mean, if you screw over the people who essentially screw other people over, like, are you really doing a bad thing? I don't know. No, but you guys were fucked up. That is fucked up. Like you took a lot of gold. Like 25,000 gold is not a small bribe. You know, like you're not bribing like a guard. That's a substantial like leave us the fuck alone, please type of money. And like yeah, but I mean, but obviously it wasn't for the greed for most of you. It was the fact that it didn't sit right just getting paid off and leaving people like this to their fate. Um, what's become of your plan? I don't know if whether or not you can consider the saving them or not. That's up to you. However, um, you did find out the shop was trapped, get sucked into like this underground like whirlpool, had this crazy fight with Yaknath. Sundara unfortunately went down, so did Nox. Um, there wasn't a potion of resurrection at the end. There is a ton of magical items, but there was a potion of reincarnation that came through and turned and with given the opportunity, it was Nox who was reincarnated instead of Sundara. Um, that being said, we're going to pick up with all of you. Uh, we are going to pick up with all of you, like kind of picking up the pieces afterwards. We'll skip a lot of the like small little parts of like you guys picking up your items. Maybe we will go into more of like what items you got again, because we don't have too much time. But there was one special scene that I had in mind, and I've been preparing this for a little bit. But one of the things that you guys all don't notice is Muna was actually unconscious during. Muna is actually unconscious right now, and this is like I think the first time Muna has actually went down from like pain in combat. How did Muna get down again? Like what happened to Muna to go? Yaknath? Okay, so let me get this straight. He ran past Leonard to run away, but then on his way out, he just murked Muna. Oh, you okay? I get what it is. So like, it was like he was trying to run around Moon because this is what it was. Leonard was on the right side of the tunnel and Muna was on the left side, but a little bit further back, right? And so it was like I think what happened was the Yaknath was in between that space where he's in front of you to the right of Leonard, and instead of taking a diagonal move, he just went through Muna or tried to go through Muna. Um, yeah, yeah. Then he gets fucked up from the back. Yeah. But let's just say this: if he had one more turn, if he had one more turn, he might have been able to escape. Because Muna, you were the furthest from like the center, pretty much. So like, no one was behind you. Exactly. So like, I mean, but this is the first time Muna has went down, and I have something for that, uh, particularly because you could think I was like maybe waiting for this moment. Okay, let me. All right. So Muna. So Muna, you do awaken. Um, first thing is, what are your thoughts as soon as you go down? Like, what's the last lingering thought? Like, you obviously saw Yaknath in front of you, his terrible claws, blood-ridden, gore, like sticking to it. Some of it definitely Sindaro, some of it Nox's. Um, you know, what is? God damn it! I overextended. Poof! Like time slows down. You begin to see flashes of your life. You know, really, that's the last thought that Muna has before going down. I, I but like, see the thing I would have to argue about that, and I hate to argue, is that I think this happened because you were the furthest away. Don't you think? Oh, to the point where he's not even in the combat. Like he's like back. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Okay. This was too dangerous. Like it was more about like why. Okay. All right. Let's bring it back to the map too. It's been a while since you guys saw this. This is the aftermath of the fight. Um, and yeah, this is where it happened. Yeah, so Muna, you are the furthest back. You guys are kind of blocking Yaknaf's passage. You are kind of in the way. Okay, so I think what it's regret is the last thing that pretty much Muna is thinking. Like, ah, man, if I only had did something differently, I wouldn't be dead. And then that's when first thing it's the pain, right? Having your flesh sliced open. Um, it's more about like the shock of the pain than the actual feeling of the pain itself. You've gotten beaten up before, yes, but have you ever gotten slit open by a 10-foot towering fish monster? No, probably not. Yeah. And we're not talking. Calm down today. Shit. So and like he didn't rip you apart like he did like Sundara, like with like like the two claws and then rip. But it's more of like he stuck you with all his claws, like five. It's like five short swords, just kind of like right into your squishy body. Exactly, exactly, and then just like dropped on the ground dead. And by the time you hit the ground, you hear waves, the slow, the slow, rhythmic tide of waves rushing in and rushing out, and rushing in and rushing out, and this feeling as you look around, you have this feeling of nostalgia. You've you've been here before. You open your eyes. You're in a room, wooden cottage. Everything has a strange tint to it. Just can't put your finger on it. It looks normal, but it looks stranger. And you kind of pick yourself up off of the ground, look directly at this window, and see a dark, twisted, like mess of trees nearby behind you. You're on this rough cliff, and you can see these dark waves colliding and crashing against the side of it. Strange feeling. This room you've been in before. Does Muna kind of know? Can he put his finger on where he just woke up? Not the specific, like, overall thematic area, but the room itself. When is the last time Muna has had a home? Not real home. As superficial as can be. Some wrong. It was on Rickety Squibbs' shore where he claimed a house for himself. Muna's house. You claimed it as it's so, and it was so, was it not? And you recognize this is the home that you so-called claim. Now, was it much of a home? Airbnb at best, but right, short-term rental at best. But whoever owns this place is making a killing. Um, Dark, twisted jungle behind, terrible, monstrous waves in front. However, there is, and like, what is Muna's thoughts? I think you can start making assumptions now as you open your eyes. Like the Shadowfell is the first thing that comes to mind, where and what really tips you off is when you look into the sky. The sky is almost pitch obsidian black, and where the sun would generally be is this pale dim version, almost like a moon, just shining but barely giving off any light. And that's what it is. You have been in the shadow field when you were very young. Probably have maybe scattered memories of it, but it's the feeling that you get when you're inside here. This gloom, this dread, it amplifies any of the negative feelings that Muna might have been harboring in his life. Can you give me like one negative feeling that might be amplified at this moment? Anger, wrath, and who is this wrath directed towards? And what about any feelings towards Skuga as well? Doesn't have to be negative, but be more of a coward. And I think with that intention, with that thought in your mind, um, you hear a voice next to you. Welcome to the other side, friend. More coward than you already are? Is that even possible? Yeah, I mean, you probably like the voice sounds familiar, the feeling sounds familiar, but this visuals in front of you, hell no. You're like, what the fuck? Now you get to see what I really look like, eh? So what do you think? That's a bold lie. I know I look hot as fuck. No, 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 no. See, you just don't understand Shadowfell. Like, when you live here, there's no way your clothes are ever gonna stay unripped. And naturally, everything, all color bleeds away until everything is either black or white. So, I don't think so. I don't think so. You should see what I do on a guitar. I mean, I heard there's a lot of bands from the Shadowfell in your world, and they're pretty popular. They have a lot of fans. I What do you think? You think I could be in one of those bands? All I'm trying to say, friend, is if you and I are standing next to each other and I have my real form in your world, no one would ever look at you. Fair enough? No. There's never too much of Skuga. When you look like this, you don't have to be good with people. It's just common sense. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Most definitely, you are dead. Yeah. This is where your people go when you die. It's the Shadowfell. You return back. But you just can't leave, I guess. So welcome home. If you were half dead, then you wouldn't be here. You're you. No, I don't. No, and no, and do not. They return back to the Shadowfell. Um, I'm pretty sure your parents would be here somewhere, but they don't appear back as you might appear, as like they turn into shades, shadows of what they once were. Well, come to think of it, you don't look too shadowy though. He gives you a punch on the shoulder. It hurts. It's like poof. He's. This reminds you of like Shkuga is much stronger than you. Um, Visually though, it like as a shadow, it might not have as much of an impact. But now that he's a visual person in front of you, it I think it hits a different way, like to Muna. Like yeah, like it like now that you look at him, you're like maybe you are like before Skuga was a shadowy blob, right? Like like a silhouette with claws, but now that you see him, now you can see for what he actually is. Like what are your thoughts? Are you more impressed, less impressed? Like what is Muna's initial thoughts? And when you have this sense of pride and when looking when you have like this sense of fatherly creative pride when you look at Skuga and he just simply smiles at you. Well, we have a lot of time. I wonder. This where are we? Where did we go to? What and why am I still connected to you? These are this is what I want to know. You being my summoner, if you are dead, shouldn't I be released? Hmm. I don't know how I feel, though. If you were to die, would I get my freedom here in the Shadowfell? Or will we still be bound together? Well, shit, I don't like the third one. How However, you see like depression take over, the negative feeling amplified, and he's like, well, but maybe death isn't so, oblivion isn't so bad after all. Not after everything we've been through, and to be beckoned to a master for eternity. I mean, I barely like you now, friend, but imagine in the 1,000 years when we've spent. I'm sure he like does the choking motion. He's like, I'm so much, you're a twig. And then, so option two would be terrible. So for me, it's freedom. Yeah, that would not for me though. Not for me. Justified, but not how the world may work. Should we give it a try? If you're half dead, maybe I could do something to accelerate. Hmm. In this sense, no. You are unconscious. For Muna, it's existing without any connection, physical, arcane, to the world at all. You are a shadow. It almost feels like, but you can still feel your flesh. So you're not completely lost. But I think the pain for Muna of not feeling that connection that made him special to the planes and his knowledge and his skill is probably torture in itself, right? Like think about right. Like think about like a powerful person, like a megalomaniac that is like not killed but just stripped of everything. Those are probably like the most scariest people because they have nothing to lose and everything to gain at that point. And I think that's kind of how Muna's like mindset would be right now, where like and and to exist without it, to be like the bottom rung, to be made equal to your summon, if not weaker. Uh, No. And I think Skuga is going to also do one thing, and he's just gonna stand there as all these thoughts are moving through your head and you're trying to access your power. He'll just backhand you. Just like for and Skuga smiles. He's like, I've always wanted to try that. But our bond, our connection forbids me to. But and then he like looks at you curiously. And I think that's when like there is a silence. So if there's anything Muna wants to address or say to Skuga or you know do, he can. There is a small moment. I mean, yeah, you look around and there's a couple of objects with you like that you can pick up, and by that time he's not even focused on that. Skuga's just like you hear the bed creak as Skuga like puts his massive weight on top of it, and you can see he's just sitting there thinking, uh, thinking a probably similar thought of like what next, you know? Like, explore where? I know where we are. We're in the Shadowfield. Why? You really think journeying through the Shadowfield all the way to Absalon is going to get you back to life? You know where we are. Eh, How far is that from any major city in the world? Technically, it's not. Technically, the term infinitely far means that you'll never be closer to anywhere. But that might be true in life. But here in the Shadowfell, I think action is what gets your essence torn apart. Just because you're a shade does not mean you have lost all sense. Not sense in your mind, but like as in there you have not lost all yet. There is more to lose, and it is dangerous here. Me strangling you would probably be the least of your worries compared to what you will face out there. This is not passively surrendering, friend. This is how I survived in the Shadowfield. This is passively staying alive. Something you failed to do in your other world. So for once, you follow my lead. We stay. And we wait. What do you think I do when I'm not with you? Now that you know the truth. Is this funny? That is what I forced to do. Actually, it's quite fitting that we're here often when I am not summoned or away from the plane material plane. This actually is where I spend the most of my time. But that's for a different reason, friend. It's what comes next. And then that's when you hear slamming on the door. There's these like auspicious giggles and manic laughter in the background. That is why I asked you to wait. The door. They will open the door regardless if you open it or not. Sure. You open the door, and the first thing you see are two strange vicious like visages, like like very small, thin, frail man in dark attire, like black ink stains that drip from his eyes like tears. And these tears, these inky tears, seem to like travel down his face into like his back, across his arms. And then you see another female, very different from a lot of the vibrant color, like the lack of color here in the Shadowfell. She is actually a vibrant red, and her hair also crimson as it floats and kind of waves, like almost as if she's going like Super Saiyan. There's like some visual mirage of heat aura like coming out of her, and you can sense the energy coming off of her as well. They both like kind of laugh in very creepy ways. One haughtily, the other very timidly and scaredly. And as the two kind of split, like both take a side step, a no, a familiar figure stands in front of you. She, without any type of word or notice, she walks in between these two twins, brushes past you. As soon as she does, like this old nostalgic fragrance that reminded you of Marie, this scent that you might have longed for since your separation, a scent that reminded you of home, that reminded Muna of what could possibly be better days. What is that scent as Marie passes you? Like a Okay. It's like a clean. So dirty soap smell. I don't. Is she clean or is she dirty? Like what? Okay, so it's not like a fancy soap. Just somebody who cleans within their means. So washed. Okay. A more special smell that is more commonly referenced, that is unique. Everyone has a smell. What is what does it remind of what does it remind Muna of? Okay. So I think Muna was a city child. and a lot of his time was spent in urban areas with Marie. So the scent of, like, let's just call it as it is. If you're poor, if you're I mean, you're definitely probably spending the night with more people in a room than you would necessarily want. uh, I think at the level of poverty that you and Marie were at that level where you guys were runaways, pretty much, runaway slaves, who really had no options besides crime or the worst of manual labor. Uh, you're probably forced to sleep in places where those people usually sleep, right? People who are either criminals, bottom of the barrel, miners, laborers. So the smell is probably very unpleasant, actually, and it's probably a like almost like dirty stench. But maybe Marie was that lift, that small little, like, she didn't smell as shit like everyone else type of lift, that and soap comes to mind, obviously, because that's probably what she used, but it is Marie's scent, that scent of soap within that background. And she walks in, she looks at Skugga and smiles. Skugga, almost like looking at the face of a, like, a higher ranking priest or cleric, his eyes divert down to the ground almost instantly. Even he has never shown that type of subservience to you. He didn't think it was even he would be capable of showing that type of subservience. Uh, so as you go for the grapple, you as you go for the embrace, uh, two pairs of hands stop you. One cold as ice, the other one burning your shoulder, your other shoulder like fire. Two simultaneous thoughts invade your head, both in your own voice. One that speaks of, how dare someone as pitiful and as weak and unworthy of love as you would reach out to try to touch Marie. And the other one, you have left. You left. You abandoned. You are disloyal. What gives you the right to try and touch Marie? These two conflicting thoughts of one making you feel furious with rage, the other one despair with loss, and you reach out, but you're unable to touch Marie. Marie simply, you're not getting blocked. You're there behind you. As you turn around to embrace Marie, she is already walking past you. And as you go to, like, embrace her from behind, these two pairs of hands have stopped you. Until Marie, and Skugga standing there, stock and stiff like a soldier, eyes straight to the ground. Marie walks to the center of the room, and she turns around, and she looks at you. Passive. You can roll me a sense motive. This will be the first death check. It's a very neutral expression. And she just stares at you. As the two pairs of hands withdraw, hovering to let you know they're nearby, but no longer touching, these invasive thoughts do begin to fade away, but like a sponge, very slowly reframing its form. A lot of it, the whispers, resonating with some of the feelings that Muna actually think in his own mind. Maybe buried under a lot of other, ego and pride, but still there. Uh, and maybe like flared up from it's been a while since he's maybe felt those. Mary continues to stare. She she smiles. Muna, I've been looking for you for so long. There you are, in front of me. It, well, you've done a poor job of finding me. You were a slave. Sounds like you've had that interesting time. You noticed something that um, different about Marie since the last time you saw her. Yes, like all fetchlings, she's pale with dark hair, pale skin, gray eyes. Um, but I think it's her aura is a little bit different. Um, the confidence that she holds herself is much more assured. And then the gear that she has looks the strangest of all. Bones, uh, skulls adorn her everywhere. Her weapon itself, made from sharpened vertebrae and bone. A weapon that doesn't really look efficient for killing, but somewhere in your recesses of your mind, you know it's more efficient at inflicting pain, not and torture, not so much as like an efficient way to kill somebody. It'd be a lie if I said I was surprised seeing you here. I've been waiting here for quite some time. Me? No. No, I have too much work to be done to die. She smiles again. I assure you that my God, my prince, would not allow that to happen until our work is finished. Religion check. I mean, there's a number of gods or goddesses or deities, even lesser degree deities that she could be talking about. Um, Not necessarily even have to be a god. She could just refer to somebody as a god. But when she says prince, that does narrow it down. There's not many people with prince as their title. She could be referring to the god. The I think you would know them more as like the Prince of Pain, but others would probably know them as the Prince of in. I think the Prince in Chains as well might be a name for them, but others will refer to them as Zan Kuthan. Now, Zan Kuthan, you probably know, is a terrible deity, one that's generally associated with pain and suffering. Like whenever there is that stuff, like considering what you guys might have done at Goat's Head, so to some they would say that's the work of the Prince of Chains, Zan Kuthan. But if that was the case, what you're thinking, like that's more of like alarm bells then, because there's not much good ever comes from the work of Zan Kuthan. Like even within like the evil community, that's like different. It's like anarchy at its highest state, yeah. I've actually been waiting for a little bit. I guess it was this one. And Shared Thumb points over at Skugga. He flinches when she does. I guess it was this one who tipped you off. You've been avoiding me. She has not stopped looking at you. And so what did you do? Thus, you avoided me. But wouldn't your Edelon know? Skugga looks. He's not looking at anyone. Yeah, he's not. Like a child being punished, Skugga stock still, just waiting for this to be over. You can see he is absolutely terrified of this person in front of him. Tell. Good. So it was this one's fault. Not good of a servant to withhold information from their masters, would you say? It reflects poorly on the master. Hmm. I can give you a few pointers on how to discipline your pets. You have not died. I wouldn't let you. Tell me, Muna, have you always been so silly? Has life been good to you? And why? Why have you been looking for me? She smirks again, shakes her head. That's silly. You are always a fool. Tell me, what have you been up to? And you can go into like the last however many so years. She'll just calmly wait and listen. At certain points, like whatever, like when you go over points, like I guess like if there's any points in the matter where like Muna is like kind of in terms of like quote unquote weakness, where he's seen as less than he is, or if he is like just acting a little bit more friendly, or any type of those things where people like ignore him or brush him off as if like what he says means nothing. Like these type of moments, like you hear laughter and giggling from the twins behind you. Never from Marie's. Her face remains neutral. And obviously, Skugga is still in his troubled state. Um, but yes, the laughter of giggleness. Like whenever Muna felt down, like you would hear the male giggle. And whenever, Muna is humiliated or embarrassed in any way, the sharp, mocking laughter of the female rings in your ears until okay. I think like at this point in this place where you're at, it's probably not hidden, right? Like as you're explaining this, like it's almost like they can see within like your memories, and I feel like at the end of this, Marie is just like there's she looks a little softer and thinks and says to you like, and I think what Marie says to you is, why do you why do you force yourself to be like, why do you make yourself weaker to try and fit in? Yes, yeah. That is what somebody without power would say. And I don't blame you. I used to be like you. I used to have to be under the foot of other people and listen to what other people say and pretend like I care. But once you get real power, Muna, and I'm talking about real power, you you can stop pretending to do all of that. People just listen when you tell them to do something because they're scared of what would happen if they didn't. You I thought you always wanted that. I never knew you wanted to be more like them. Then why have you not gotten it? When you mentioned the word sweetie, uh, it's like the violent upheaval of your world is so shocking. Like it's like almost being dragged to hell in like a blink of an eye. You know, like just like fire, like death screams, pain, everything. It's just like, and then like you're back. Uh, she looks at you and says, "You may address me as my name." And there is power out there, Muna. It just depends on what you're willing to do to get it. That are you claiming that was your decision for power? Trivial things. Wealth. Influence. These are not real power. Power the power I'm talking about is the power that you have to kill and to take away. That is the only power that matters. Wealth, if I kill you, then you have no more wealth. Trust me, that doesn't come over here. That doesn't go with you to the boneyard. If you're looking for power, I no sales pitch. If you think this if you think you have a choice in this matter, then you are wrong. However, because we're old friends, because we've had and still have a special connection, a connection that, Muna, no one in this world or the next would ever have this connection with you, Muna. I saved your life. But I am willing to share some of my power with you. I can do that. But what I need from you is a couple of things. Do you remember how this all started? Before that, why did we have to run? Why was this unfair life thrust upon us? Yeah, our parents slaughtered. Did you ever wonder why? And who? That would hit a shadow-filled caravan filled with fetchings? I don't think so. No. It was the Chalaxians. That's what my prince showed me. And he gave me the power to avenge our family. Everyone and everything that we ever loved. Those bastards took all of it. They took away something more important than all of that. Our innocence. Our hearts. Look at you. Look at me. This is what they created. And I have found the people that were responsible for their deaths in our enslavement. Like, just wait, like pictures and pictures of people, like, go through your mind, portraits, images, sketches, real actual visions. Maybe 10 people, and most of them, the lower level ones, brutally murdered. Like, you see the visions, skin flayed, genitals, limbs, digits all cut. Some of them forced to watch their loved ones burn before they endured the same pain and suffering. Drugs to influence the senses, poisons to make things feel as if they were burning from the inside over months. Every type of excruciating torture applied on these people. Some of them just very small players in the scheme. Others, well-renowned politicians. I need you to roll me an appraisal check to determine some of these people. And I'll give you, if you want to give me another roll, I'll give you advantage on this. Okay, so 13. He looks different in your mind, but you definitely realize that one of the portraits that doesn't have the X on them is Albert. With hair, he's well groomed. He looks intelligent, pretty sharp. But there's no denying it. On a 13, you're like, one of those people that are still not X'd out on that list is 100% Albert with hair. And like facial hair and stuff. Then with a with a 13, another one. Yeah, that, but Albert is definitely like, not, he's not at the top of the list. Like, the top is reserved for like the, like the top, right? He's like in the middle-ish, like a little higher than the middle though. Like, based on his, and they have names and stuff too. So Albert's real name is actually Duke Silverius Gracchus of House Arion. That is Owlbear's real name. You also see somebody else from House Arion on that list. It's Kyrie Eckerdire. Um, and just for funsies, even though you didn't roll it, I'm just going to give you this. There is a man who also surprisingly looks like somebody else in your party. Very familiar. Not like a one-to-one like Albert to Duke Silverius. But there is a man named Guardanio Torchia. And you don't know who this name is, and nor do you know who Kyrie Eckerdire is. But it's the face. You know that he is the leader of a Hell Knight order in Cheliax. He's a Vicarious, powerful wizard, and he also looks very similar to Aaron. These are also two names that you do recognize one of them. Vidrax, Nox's father, who, if you have heard, has been killed since then, and Nathalia Locid. You don't know who that is. You don't know who that is. But they have all been X'd out. Well, so the Duke Silverius is still not X'd out. Giordano is not X'd out. But and Kyrie Eckerdire, like the top people are not X'd out. Like these are like really high ranking people. Um, it- yeah, Nox's father is X. Nathalia Locid is X'd out. Um, and I think you know what's gonna come next. What do you say? Oh, I know you do. Regardless, he needs to pay. But how? That's that's what I was thinking. We use him to get to the higher ups. Will you help me kill and torture and get revenge on every single one of these people left on this list? The easy ones have been done. You've seen what I've done. All that's left is the hard work. Will you help me? For what we lost? We need to use that man that you call Owlbear. He can get us to the others. Well, now you know that he wasn't always that way. Or anything. Any type of magic. Magic that I probably don't want to touch. But maybe some of people you travel with. Maybe they can help. Not mind restoring magic, but Do you think a do you think if I was to walk into a cathedral or a church or a temple with a man in tow, what are the chances I'm not going to leave there without killing everyone else in that temple? They're not going to help me, and I will kill them for it. You help me, and I will make it so that you never, ever get disrespected or have any disobedience or any type of, I guess, weakness. You and me together, we can do whatever we want, be whoever we want to be, like we always wanted. She, yep. It's not. But I'm able to project myself into the Shadowfeld. My prince, he holds this plane in high regard. He was imprisoned here for a long time. A lot of this is actually his making. If anything, if the fetchlings didn't have a deity, it would be Zan Kuthan. Because who else, what other deity would ever deign to stay a single second in our homeworld? So, you fall asleep. And if you sleep far enough to when you're sick, so you have to have the sickened condition, and you fall asleep or go unconscious, then and only then will you be able to meet me. However, I can pass messages to Skuga when you unsummon him. By the way, do you want me to tune him up a little bit? Maybe talk. I hope there's more pain than talking. Charity, Muna? Something for nothing? Something for nothing? If I want you to deposit something to then, pledge your oath. Serve him. And you will see your down payment. Roll sense motive or perception, up to you. And this is necessarily for Marie. Everything she's telling you, you don't have to roll. Like, she is not lying. Skuga, at the mention of you submitting to Zankuthan, you can tell Skuga despises this in every single shape and form. What Marie is saying about the plane and Zankuthan might not be a lie, but obviously Skuga feels very differently about the nature of the Shadowfeld, and he's mentioned this before to you. I don't know if you remember that, but he has said that Marie has been twisted by a force that is terrible. Not only for the world, but also for the Shadowfield. Like, to a point where maybe, because you rolled a nat 20, maybe the Shadowfield is what it is now because of Zan Kuthan's influence over a long period of time when he was imprisoned here. But before that, and maybe like a part of Skugga remembers what the Shadowfield was before that. And that's probably where the divide is here. Skugga is a lot more ancient, maybe, than originally let on. The power is right there in front of you. It does not have to be half-hearted, but do you understand what I'm saying, Muna? The reason why you were a slave while I was getting revenge. The reason why you were toiling and suffering while I was getting pleasure from the death of the people who wronged us. The reason why you were in chains and I'm free. The reason why you're still in chains that you can't see is because you lack conviction. You want power. You claim you want power. But do you really? It's not. Because if you really wanted power, because if you really wanted this, you wouldn't have to think. I ask, no. You talk like the politicians that I killed. They said those same words right before I ripped their tongues from their mouth. But I've seen your soul. I've seen what you can do. And like images of the death fog and the people dying in the village. I know there's still chance for you left. I will give you your time. And then she looks over at Skugga one last time. I think you'll come to make the wisest decision of your life, Muna. Today could have been your end, but I think it's our new beginning. And with that, the sounds, the ringing of your ears, beep, comes back as you hear Leonard's voice. Muna! Muna! And you find yourself in the cave. Woken up. And then you guys are all here. You are raised back to, I would say, like, I don't know, he gives you like as much HP as you need to come back up, like 6 HP maybe. Right. And so we are in the cave and everyone is still sloshing around. Let's just say, Leonard is like Knox is back. I know Jacob's not here today, but Knox is back, and so what we'll do is we'll just fast forward a little time. But for now, um, I want to describe to you what the conditions of Goat's Head Island is after you guys have come out of the cave. And if you guys have any questions on the and one of the things is Nina. I think it's Nina, right? That has the bless you. Nina, I think you had the Iron Stone. Uh, Upon holding the Iron Stone, you do hear two voices. Describe to me like there is like this pale orange, like glowing crystal in the ground, right? And like in the water in the darkness. In the fight, you couldn't really make it out, right? Because it's so dark and there's so much shit happening. But I think like during the fight when the cavern was flooded and everything was happening, you might have like caught an eye. And so as greedy as you are, not joking, greedy Briar, you do see it. Like does Briar just like pick it up and put it in his pocket or what? No, 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 not like this is afterwards, like after everything's settled. That's the burning dog, right? The yeah, the dog in the burning fire. Check that mark. We did that. But Briar always had this inkling of like, what does save the village necessarily mean? If killing everyone is that liberating them? Um, who knows? That's that's more than gray, but that's more like dark gray. That's very dark gray. Um, but still enough to some people that does make sense, right? They are like, hey, uh, if you're suffering, maybe the end is better than your suffering. So upon so in this dark cave, Briar, and these are like vignettes. Like we're doing like small individualized cutscenes instead of like a larger thing because, well, uh, timeline is kind of all screwy because we don't have everyone. But in the dark cave, everyone's healing their wounds. Nox is coming back. Like all that's happened. You guys are starting to loot. Briar, you do see that crystal again. Like, what exactly do you do with it? Okay. Before you pocket it, you take a look at it. Roll me an appraisal check, or you can roll me a spellcraft check, or you can roll me just the perception. But the perception is going to be much weaker. A higher DC gives you much less info. Damn, you have energy drained and you're fatigued. Jeez, you guys are fucked up. All right. Well, at least you right. Damn. Did Aaron get hurt? I think did Aaron almost. Yeah, he almost died, right? Because like the Yaknath or somebody attacked him. I forget who it was. Oh yeah, it was fun. Yeah, and it was so good. Yeah. But okay, Briar, on an 11, you distinctly see like silhouettes, like humanoid silhouettes within the crystal that you picked up, and then you begin to hear a faint voice. Briar, Briar. Do you like to actually like focus on the voice that's calling out your name? It's like very cracky. You can't really make out too much. It's like, Briar. Mm-hmm. Uh, well, hold on. It's that. That's not a bad idea. Roll me a wisdom save. Oh shit. That's a -5. I don't think I've ever seen a lower roll than that. I think that's I think you set a record, Nina. I think that is the lowest roll I've ever seen. Yeah, it has to be, but it's a -5 is what's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a -5, man. That's crazy. Wow. Okay, well, that's pretty. But you do get some crazy nat 20s from time to time too, like that. Just are like unbelievable as well. Um, all right, Brian. Like your mouth moves, but it's not your voice. Maybe it is Brian's voice too, but it's like this weird act. It's like Brian. Yeah, yeah. It's like Brian. Is that you? Why do you? I sound so weird. And you are distinctly aware, like you've been possessed before. This is nothing new. Like you're sharing right now your body, your vessel, this vessel with Sundara, and Sundara's like, Brian, I'm confused. Am I awake? What's happening? Like you're like looking now, like you're looking at your own hands and your fingers. Whose body? What? Why do? What is this? You try to respond in your head, but the words come out of your mouth. You're talking out loud now. What's going on, Brian? I'm in your body. What? Your hand? So where's my body? Where am I? And then like you hear, that's when you hear like the audible gasp in your mind, the reaction, and you hear that from your own voice, Briar, which is weird. um, I um I died. Briar, did I die? uh Roll me another wisdom save. Yep, -1. That's when like you just feel like your mind is cramped and stuffed when you hear welcome back. When you hear, well, this is fucking unpleasant. If this one of the bodies of the wretched souls that deemed to take me down, where are we? I demand answers. No, there's no possible way that you would have defeated me or Yaknath. And then he sees like the corpse of Yaknath. Oh dear, this doesn't make sense. Oh, oh shit! Oh shit! Oh no! Yes, you can now hear this. Briar is talking like Afric Blue Flaunt. Oh shit! Oh shit! The fucking Iron Stone! Oh fuck! Do you say that out loud? Oh shit! This is terrible. Oh, I'm sucked. My soul has been. Yes, you. Yes, you. Do me a good favor, sir, and kill this body that I'm inhabiting. Well, I. Yeah, it's Briar's voice, but he's just talking differently. Yeah. But if you did it at one time, you can do it again. Muna, I. Leonard? Leonard? Please. I need to talk to him. What do you mean? What do you mean I died after the light? I don't. I'm very confused as well. Well, I'm confused on how you were able to overcome us. Such pitiful fools like. Definitely, I've definitely lost my mind, and you should end me quickly. I don't really know you too much. We never really interacted at all. I just thought you were always off a little bit, and I didn't really like you, to be honest. But then I don't have to. And then we would all be relief from the soul gem or the iron stone. Yes, the stone, the obvious magical crystal that I'm holding right now in my hands. Oh, well, maybe I could do this. And he just chucks it. Well, actually, roll me another wisdom save. And do a wisdom save, not a check. Or is it... Yeah, is it a wisdom save, right? Oh, will save. Sorry. Not wisdom. Will save. 4. Okay. So, yeah, the crystal's just chucked away. The voices stopped. All right. The two voices flood into you once more. You can roll me another will save when you pick it up. Okay. Um, and as you pick it up, um, you realize that the crystal only activates a certain amount of times a day because it does seem to be dead. Um, and so when you pick it up, it's just a normal iron stone. You're not really quite sure, uh, but you don't feel those. And I think that's what you're getting. You're like, is it like a once a day thing? Like, because you still don't feel the hear or feel the voices like you did before. Um, and I think at this point too, the elephant in the room would be like this giant water elemental. It's pretty large. It's like a large one. It's standing in the middle of the room, the cavern, and it just goes whoosh, and water just splashes everywhere along the side, like creating a pretty large puddle on the ground, where everything has been dried up, is like now splashed with water once more, reminding you, standing in the middle, leading Aaron out of the depth, like this labyrinth, is the Rusalka. What? Yeah, I mean, this is the end of that minute, is what I'm trying to say. Oh. Uh, yep. No worries. No worries. So what the scene is right now is the Rusalka is actually just like in an elegant walking on water on the water elemental that just like turned into a puddle. She's like walking on top of that. Uh, And I do believe at one point you guys like the wire the black rope was used to like connect you to, um, and that rope it's like almost like she's using that to lead Aaron out. Like the tables have turned, and almost in a sense, like she's walking forward, holding this rope, and Aaron's just following behind her, holding the same rope. Um, yeah, that's the scene you see. I did give her, so her, she looks around. She looks at you directly. And I do just have to look up the Rusaka once more because I didn't remember if they have telepathy or not. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if she did. No. Okay. So it would actually make sense that she would, but it's okay. Um, You know what? Yeah, I could just give her a message. So in your mind, telepathically, you do hear her voice, and she shares you her name, which is a series of sounds and images of water and water-related things like bubbles in the ocean, heat from the events, and like schools of fish being devoured by sharks. Like an elegant, beautiful, poetic, like name that also is tinged with fear and intimidation. And she looks at you and says, "The work here is done. We have won. You have freed me. And so I will let you leave unscathed. You may pick up your materials and I will give you time before I sink this island beneath waves." She also messages you, "Should I address you out loud?" Her voice is more like gaspy and raspy as she is breathing air. Um, However, is still similar tone, and so she's like, "Yes, I am a Rusaka, not of the land, but from the water. Soon, my family, who I have been away from long time, will come, and together we will sink this stain far below the water. You free to go. Take and leave." And she begins to walk with Aaron again. She looks over at you, Muna. "What do you mean?" "He saved me. Aaron saved me. And he loves me. And I love him. He saved me. And I saved him. We are bound. What say you?" And she looks over at you, Aaron. "Do you not agree?" Yeah. What do you say to this, Aaron? Oh, it most definitely is. That doesn't change what has happened. Not drugged, charmed. Uh, Aaron, I think that's a substantial enough evidence for you to roll a will save to try to negate whatever this is. It is a save. 18. 18. Um, Aaron, you get what everyone is saying, right? Like you understand it, but it doesn't change the fact that what you feel is what you feel, and what happened happened. This is like the tall, like this is a fable that would only exist in like a scroll or a book, right? Like this is a fairy tale ending if you've ever seen one. And who are you to deny that? You are like the prince in one of those novels, like in one of those stories. You're the hero. You saved the damsel. The damsel turned out to be a powerful Rusalka, and happily ever after. I will protect. On the, no, her language sounds old and ancient. Uh, um, I guess more of like fairy tale. Yeah, sure. In a very flowery language, like very more descriptive and whimsical than it is practical. Yeah. Dirk snars four starts swoop fast swoop through. Yeah, what do you gotta say? Okay. So Briar, you can roll me a sense motive, everyone. Um, it's a pretty it's a pretty simple. Ooh, shit. So 15 is actually the cutoff. Aaron, if you have a cookie, you can use it. So on a 15, Muna, you get the sense that the Rusalka, no, you get a good sense that this Rusalka has been through probably more than your average, like, Fae would, right? Like, the compounding abuse and trauma that has been inflicted on this Rusaka has probably made this Rusaka more different than your normal, like, whimsical fae. She's pretty hard. She seems more hard, calculating, more logical maybe than her fae kin. Um, like, you've heard of nymphs, and it's always been like fun and pleasure. Like, the issue has always been too much of that, right? Like with nymphs, it's like you have too much fun where you never go back to your ordinary life, and you to the point you may even forget to eat, right? Like, that's how much wild and fun it is. But, like, like a crackhead, I guess. But this Faye seems to be a little bit different. This Rusaka seems to be more of like like possessive. Um, it's like she's possessive. She's cold. She's calculative, pragmatic. But at the same time, Briar, you realize that you have asked her to stop doing what essentially a Rusako does. It's like almost asking a porcupine, "Hey, porcupine, I'm safe. I'm okay. You're not in danger with me. So shed all your quills." It's like, no, it's not gonna happen, ever. Yes, you're right. You are right, but they will never get rid of their quills, or as in, yeah, like, like, that's what I mean. But yes, you're right. If you rub the porcupine the opposite way, though, it still will fuck you up. But there's a specific way you can touch them, but yeah. Yeah, yeah, they don't. They're like cats. Like, their hair stands up when they're scared, and then it becomes spiky. But naturally, they're not. I mean, can you imagine the logistics of moving around in the wilderness, having your shit catch on every single little thing? Uh, Yeah, it's the respect, and she's pleasantly surprised about it. But you're also asking her, like, when you're saying that, you're asking her to not be who she is, to not do what she's naturally inclined to do, and so she cocks her head at you, and she's like, "But," in Sylvan, she's like, "But why should I?" She looks over at you, Aaron. Do you not love me? Do you Do you not wish to spend your entire life with me? No, I will want you forever, my savior. I can't wait to show you the castle beneath the waves. He has chosen, has he not? You, Aaron, Aaron, you have chosen, have you not? She looks back at you, Briar. You heard that. She looks at you, Muna. And your lungs are affected by air, and that does not change your decision to breathe. Yaknath? She looks at the rope that that you, Aaron, and she both hold. Roll a diplomacy check. That's a pretty good point. Um, what the fuck did you do to help my dude? Yeah, but your arguments, you're the one. You no, Muna's actually like, oh shit, that's a fucking good point Brian just made. He's not helping. He's like, yeah, but that wasn't. He didn't make the point that Briar just made, and so no, you can't share the credit in this. Briar, you get 250 XP for this. Man, no. This was all Briar on the 26th. You get 250 XP. None of that to Muna, who's just being jealous over there. Uh, jelly, a little jelly. It's and what's your help gonna do? Um, so on that is not the DC for this. The DC for this is lower because, I mean, just think about it. She is pretty fairly. She, oh yeah, but you'll find out soon enough. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Um, well, I think you guys should be worrying about your own characters. To be honest, don't fucking worry. Like at this time, like this Rusaka is not. It's not about Aaron. It's about. It could very well be about just your survival at this point. But anyways, on the 26th, the Rusaka does. She's like, oh shit. You like her face looks like you have flipped her world upside down. As Rusaka, they are intelligent, but not that intelligent. Like they're more intelligent than, I don't know, like your average crazy like Fae that like really has no intelligence. But like above a slightly above average intelligence. But her mind and how old she is, she doesn't really look at things the same way you guys do. But when you kind of point that out, she's like, "Oh shit! Like you have opened my eyes." She looks at the rope. She looks at you, Aaron, and she drops the rope. Now, she drops the rope. That means the connection between you and the Rosaka ends, Aaron. That, I guess, that superficial charm that can. And let me be honest with you, she didn't like use a spell on Aaron. It was because of the connection between the two, and that Aaron just got overwhelmed by the just pure like chaotic beauty and like just being emasculated, or not emasculated, but immersed in like just the fae and like the whimsy and like everything. Like for instant, Aaron knew what it was like to be a Rosaka, to be with them, to live like them, and I think he just got immersed in that. With the rope now, now she got lets go of the rope. Aaron, you hold the other end, but the connection ends. You're no longer per se charmed by the Wusaka. What do you say? What do you do? But like what you felt isn't in no way other also like fake or like disappears. It's just the connection, that special what the, what is it? Water comes up and supports you. Your ass gets wet. Oh, I mean, it's already wet. I mean, so you guys are all probably soaking already still. So you don't mind it. It's warm. It feels solid. She supplies a chair out of water. To ooh, that not very persuasive here. Roll a diplomacy check. It's not. Is it? Uh, 12. She she looks like she just got broken up with for the first time. You know, like imagine a 16-year-old like high school student who just got broken up with for the first time. You know, like they're just the world has shattered, has crumbled, is crumbling. The pure wretched sound that she makes when she wails out is enough to cause you guys almost to get scared of a collapse. Um, and she looks at you and she says, "Is it because I was a slave? Is that why? I those people never mattered to me. I was forced." Hey, Ron, you saved my life and I saved yours. What we felt through the rope, it was true. I know you and you know me. Why would you want to leave me? It's not you, it's me. Yes, to spend my life, the remainder of your life, with you until you grow old and die, and then I will be sad for many, many years afterwards. But hopefully, we will have some hybrid children that I will keep me company. But you are the great hero Aaron, who killed Yaknath, who saved me. I am the reason that Yaknath died. So you freeing me is what killed him. All of you, she looks at all the rest, congratulate my love for single handedly taking down Yaknath. And she begins to clap. She intimidates you all. Her intimidate would be a it's a plus 24. Everyone claps. It's a 41. So everyone claps. She looks at you and says, like it's almost like one of those things where she looks soft and beautiful, and then when she looks at you guys, it's like Medusa, Hydra, her jaw unhinges. It looks fucked up as shit, and then you guys are all just like, everyone's just like clapping, and then she looks back at you. Accomplish so much already in such a short time. There is much to conquer below. You keep saying that. You're gonna have to roll me another diplomacy check now, because you keep. Very fitting for, thus. It's suspicious as fuck, is what it is. Uh, the sweat instantly breathes on your brow, Aaron, that comes out of your mouth, and her head like twists like a 90-degree angle when you say that. She continues to stare at you. Under her gaze, her like never blinking, intimidating gaze, sweat still beating on your brow. She's waiting for you to finish. Oh, this is a diplomacy 4 if I've ever heard it. This does not register with her. Pretty much, you realize all you're saying is, and how she's going to interpret this is, you're not good enough for me. I'm not going to be happy with you long term. Yeah, like this is what she's getting. You have broken her heart, Aaron, and her eyes flash her like 90-degree tilted head just like goes like 100, like full 360 accesses style, like just, and as soon as she makes that final rotation, her eyes, which were like a pearly opal blue, have turned into a dark red. And she says, never in my years have I felt so disrespected. And I was a slave to Yaknath for quite some time. I have given you everything for a mere insect like you. Aaron, give me one embarrassing childhood story of Aaron, like super embarrassing, like pee pants or something like that. She would have known this in that small little time that you guys held the rope. Very vindictive right now, and you're about to see what happens. Uh, Stop! You're gonna have to get a fucking refinement. What is those restriction orders? Restraining orders. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. When those bullies, when they tormented you, smashed eggs on you, and they peed on you, and defiled you, and tore your clothes, you were pitiful then. That is how I saw you when you were on your last breath. You saved me, Aaron, but I have saved you too. You would have died without me. You all would have died. And her vicious visage, kind of, when you say that, it softens just a tad. But there is still hope. The land of humans, the land that you walk, there's so much of this death and of things like Yaknath but not just Yaknath, but the people. And she like kind of like gestures to the island, right? The everything around her. The people that give things, abominations like Yaknath, power. Sheep, weak minded things. In the sea, there is only one rule: the strong survive. And when you get weak, eventually you die. With me, you will never be weak. Until, I guess, you die of old age. But even then, I might be able to make you eternal like me. And we may live forever and travel the world eventually. This will be her last ditch attempt to try to persuade you. But then I can't have sex with? Oh, no. No, I don't care about them. Are you denying me once more? There, that is right. It will not. She is going to use beckoning call. Everyone within 300 feet, which is everyone. Uh, no, they're. uh, roll me a will save. Um, so she says to you all in a sing song manner, "You all follow me and love me unconditionally, and you are now all compelled to do so under the suggestion spell, as it's not really hurtful to any of you or harmful. If anything, it's with the her DC. It makes the most amount of sense. Uh, she said follow her, and you love her unconditionally now. Um, and you guys will be able to get saves on this. Continue moving on. It's like I would let you do as many saves as you want. Actually, like in a day. Um, Obviously, if you succeed, then the effect breaks. And you cannot be affected by it again for a certain amount of time. However, because of the interaction and how I'm almost certain everyone has failed. Um, we'll see though. Like so, we'll actually end it here with this spell going off and with her conditioning going off. But I just want to say um, however, I think a nat 20 will still break this, and I do believe like in the narrative way, if somebody does get a nat 20 to break out of this, they're able to, on the meta level, break other people out, right? Like help them get out. But I don't think anyone's will save will cover that DC without getting a nat 20. I might be wrong, but no, I mean obviously not right now in this session, but but even then, you see, see on that nat 1, no, so yeah, you did, but it doesn't count. But but I wonder what those nat ones will do. Though I would say those nat ones are probably going to counteract any like they're like a strikeout from the nat 20 you'll get in the future. But still, um, this will probably affect the what you guys are doing. Um, then there's the second condition too. Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see if that's the. Because I'm going to argue that you have to interpret her orders now through the lens of loving her unconditionally. So if you love somebody unconditionally and they say follow you, that is true. That is true. But it says follow me. Then, I mean, what are you going to interpret that as? I don't know. Not on Twitter. Is she out talking about? She's not talking about Twitter. So she's not talking about OnlyFans having but anyways, um and we'll see what happens next and how you guys get out of this conundrum. But it's no. Yeah, why didn't you get a nat 20 when you most needed it? Can't you just like cheat? That's like a little on you. You gotta do more. Like you gotta give more because of karma. No, no, I'm joking. I don't. Do you guys believe in roll karma? I don't. I do believe in probability though. Like, and then sometimes we get lucky where the rolls make sense. I was actually going to think like, what the fuck will happen if, let's say, you rolled a nat 20 on that last diplomacy. I'm like, oh, I guess it's just like she's just like, all right, there's more fish in the sea. See ya. Like, and she just goes away. But I don't know. But anyways, thank y'all for playing. That was fun. Um, and I think we've set up a lot. Oh well, I mean, okay. I mean, if you're gonna be that way, but like at the same time, she's a Rusaka. She's just expecting people to do what she tells them to do, and she's a um. So again, might she might be more world weary than other Rusakas. But none of you guys have met a Rusaka probably. Like they aren't really common. They're very powerful fey creature, water fey creatures. But no, no, no. But I will say that she doesn't know what she's also saying too. Like she's using, like another language. So she just thought that was the best way to say it with her limited knowledge. Like, I mean, that's what she wants. She just wants people to follow her and love her unconditionally. Not necessarily, no. Yeah, not necessarily. Like, I don't need that, necessarily. I think that might be a little bit too much to get loved unconditionally. Well, in combat, how much? What does it take? Like an action to do that? Two actions? A standard action, right? So that would be 6 seconds or a few seconds. I mean, I guess you could. No, no, it's not that you can't do it. It's like it's the threat of it, right? Like when I'm starting to do something like casting a spell, and you start singing a song like "I'm gonna counter you," like or block this magic, and like I start hearing that stuff, I'm just gonna be like, that's aggression on. Well, I'm being aggressive too, right? But that's retaliation. Yeah, so do something about it. Like, yeah, it's definitely aggressive. Yes, you can. Well, that is what is the wording on counterspell? That's actually a good point. Like, what does it say? Because like if Nina has to do it on their turn, if Briar has to do it on their turn, then you'd be countering the effect after it's already taken place, right? It's not a reaction. Oh wait, uh, any creature within 30 feet of the bard, include the bard, is affected by. Wait. Wait. It doesn't really. Yeah, but it says starting a bardic performance is a standard action. So this would be starting after a standard action, right? So then, if this is not a reaction, then it shouldn't be a reaction in narrative form. As in, it shouldn't counter something that's being in the middle of casted, but it would only counter after it's succeeded or failed, right? What does that mean? Oh, like yeah, no, no. The Rusaka has not put any stipulations against playing music, but at the same time, Briar does whatever Briar's own mind and sense love the Rusaka unconditionally. So I mean I don't know. I don't that's up for you to guys to explain to me and convince me of. That's not my job to convince you. It's the opposite. This, this Rusaka and this creatures, they don't like pragmatically use their powers that way, this way. So there was no forethought in trying to capture or trick you guys or iron lock this. This is just what she wants, and that's all she said. How we will get into the details of how this works out and how you guys can weasel your way out of it. That's perfectly fine. That's part of the game. I don't. Yeah, and I think you're also looking at it at the lens of somebody like Muna. But we also have to think about what love this Rusaka means unconditionally to Briar. And to Briar, yes, Briar might play a bardic performance, but it might not be countersong. It could be like bonus to the Rusaka. Like who knows? Uh, But imagine if a sociopath got love for like what if they did get for the first time unconditionally? That's gonna be scarier. Uh, but anyways, we'll see what happens next. But now this way, it's no longer just Aaron's character that's tied to this. It is now pretty much everyone. It's all or nothing, baby. Why are you talking about that right now? That's not. Why can't we continue the campaign under the water with the Rusaka? Maybe. I don't know what we'll do if this campaign ends. So because like this, well, that was for power. That's for because he has the balls to do what he needed to do. The- Look, let me explain. This was all that was all like it was all explained before the chess match happened. Okay, and so, but anyways, when he killed off Day, at first I was just like, yeah, I knew it was gonna be she was gonna be the first one to go, but then then it was everyone else. But anyways, what were we saying, Nina? Sorry. Of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, and it could drastically change. But like, let me ask you a question: if you were Knox or if you were Leonard, and you rolled in that 20, and everyone else was going, what would you do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, I would feel like, yeah, okay. It just fails the check on purpose. Yeah. But like, let's say Leonard, gets in that 20. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, take the Rusaka on by himself? I mean, I guess he could technically, but he would attack the Rusaka. Jesus, against the who? The Rusaka? Oh, no, but that's not how this works. That's not how. That's how we could flavor it if he rolls on that 20. But if he does not hit this, he still will fail, and it would be like he has new purpose now. I mean, maybe, who knows? Hmm, that's actually a good point. Hmm. Well, just keep that in your pocket for later. Don't reveal everything. I mean, there's a lot of ways I think you guys can get out of this, but if by chance you guys don't, then yeah, this would be unless you guys don't want to continue a campaign with that. I mean, like, eventually one of you guys will get out. I, I'm right now. I'm trying to think about how Rusaka keep pets or keep lovers or somebody in water for extended amount of time without having to breathe. I'm I'm v- yeah, it needs this air. These fucking creatures constantly with the air. Um, yeah, I'm still trying to think like whether or not if she takes you guys down there, like if you guys just eventually die. Uh, just trying to. Yeah, that's true, but some quicker than others. I'm trying to figure like it's just the bodies, just like a bloated body. I would assume like if you can control water, right? Wouldn't you be able to like right like can create bubbles around people's heads essentially that essentially you can create like a if you're powerful enough if enough range like a straw like a cylinder from the surface to the oh yes damn you guys wouldn't be able to descend that far down without dying, right? Hmm. I guess I wonder if you guys just die if she just takes you under there. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. There's probably a reason. Like if like other Rusakas were probably like, "Oh, honey, like you're so you have yet a lot to learn. This does not work out. If he does decide to go with you, he's just gonna die halfway down there, like halfway down the water." Um, Probably why they don't take people down there. Hmm. Jesus, this guy. Yeah, so I guess if no one fails or no one succeeds and you guys all just go along with it and don't escape it, then I guess it would be a TPK. I guess essentially she would be killing you all. Shape shifting hunter. You guys Ooh. The one that I really love to play, and I had made for the Pathfinder campaign. I think I felt like there was like a Pathfinder 2 campaign somewhere down the line, but it was the Inquisitors. Like I like this idea of like a Sherlock Holmes type of class. And also he was like robotic, which was pretty cool too. Like, oh, it was a one shot you ran, right? Oh shoot, that was pretty fun. S- I like so I mean that's fine with you guys, but I mean just and it's very possible. Like it was it was kind of down to that last diplomacy role, I guess. But anyways, if you guys, yeah, I mean there's still a lot left to, and also if if you guys do have to make new characters by chance, I think it's only right you guys create people that lived here on Goten Island, and now they're forced to leave their fucking island. uh, well, I mean, what level do you think the people here in Ghost Head would be? So we would. I mean, well, there could be, like cultists that you guys would be for the cultists that didn't go out. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I would say level 3. I would probably make you guys level 3 or 4, but you, no, you cannot pick an NPC. No, why? What? No. Then you wait. But what essentially you don't have to be from Goat's Head. You were just on Goat's Head when this shit played out, and so you guys all shared this background story of what the fuck happened on this island. Um, and then like so, yeah, just like yeah, pretty much. Love it. Oh, it's okay. I mean, it's. I don't think it's a. I mean, it's all right. The reason why I picked this was because at one point I do want to implement the or we the magic system. Um, there is a special magic system that's separate from the Pathfinder magic system, and it is I think one of the most comprehensive and intuitive magic systems in any role playing game I've ever seen. Yeah, the elements of magics still played by many people. But it is if you think understanding Pathfinder magic as it is hard. This is harder because you have to now think of it as like every time you make a spell, you possibly could be making it from scratch. And so yeah, Lego. So it's like it's like fire plus, and then you make it a cone, and then you can make it a 60-foot cone, and then you can up the damage. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, yeah, I think Brandon Sanderson is a avid RPG lover. Like a lot of his magic systems are pretty hard. Like he loves Star Wars or Star Trek. He loves one of those. Oh, is there? Oh shit! Wow, it's that complex, huh? But you could see how like hard it would be for that system for like exactly what I mean. Like essentially, you'd be looking up a lot of stuff during combat, which is one of the reasons why I didn't implement it. Because for me, I as a GM, it'd be really hard for unless I have like a complete grasp of it. Like if I have more than one spellcaster, even one spellcaster with spell slots and spell list, it's still a lot of fucking work. Uh, yeah, yeah. Ooh. Oh, so like like the it's just all about the magic. Is not really like, oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. Well, I mean, what do you think, Nina? You ever be interested in a magic system that's a little bit more? I guess Pathfinder is pretty hard, but or when I mean hard, like I mean like very crunchy numbers heavy. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or I mean, but it's Yeah, I guess. I mean, it is. It's based off the same system. It's just a little bit more crunchier, but you can pretty much like any spell that's cast on you, you can pretty much reverse engineer that spell to understand like how that spell went off. So if you see somebody like casting some heavy duty magic, like this range plus this damage, you already know like A, how many points they have, B, how many points they could probably possibly have left because like of how strong that spell was or how weak it was. Um, yeah. Well, now if we do a mini campaign where all you kind of doing is just casting the magic. Oh, yeah, but you play enough RPGs where I don't actually believe you when you're like, yeah, oh, well, there, that's true. But you also want to like you also need to know at least enough to build your character at the beginning. What that's what it is. Like you have a lot of school elements that you have to work with. So like but it's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. If fire, yeah. Uh huh. Oh damn! I don't remember all the things again. But yeah. So there's something like fire mind. Invoke. Yes. Invoke is the like shooting. Yeah. Ah. Exactly. They actually have examples. Like they have a fireball, and then they show you how to. That shows you how to build a fireball, just like in Pathfinder. Um, so, I mean, hey, let me know if you guys, if we die, if you guys TPK here. But I'm gonna say you guys TPK because you wanted to. Like, there's tons of opportunities for you to get out of this, right? Like, I do believe if you have that will, then there's a way. If you have the will, then you have the way. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think I think Leonard has some will. So, dude, I really hope Leonard doesn't go like crazy and. Oh, you're pulling the old like too much, like making the Rusaka regret that she's gonna regret that shit. Yes, yes. Does that work? You know what? I think like like on a psychologic or psychologic level, I think it would work. I think the fact that it is unattainable is one of the reasons why people obsess over it. But if it's like so mediocre and common, they might not. Yeah, you're right. She might just be like, well, you can action it too. You don't have to say stuff, but I mean, she could do things. Like, yeah, I mean, sh here's a flower. See you later. But yeah, we'll see. But anyways, it was a fun time. Thank you all for coming. I don't know what happened to Jacob, but yeah, I hope he's okay. But that's might be possible. Uh, and also, I hope all you guys are doing okay as well. Uh, and I will you guys. That's nice. That'd be nice. It's a good grind. That's nice. It's gonna force me to smoke crack, cocaine. If I go back to work. Well, probably. It's probably true. I mean, yeah. Uh, do you get paid for sick leave? Oh shit! Then yeah, do it, man. Like, put that shit in their face. I you should actually bring them a cake. Uh, on like the last day, perfectly healthy. Fine. Yeah, I mean, I would, if I didn't like my manager and they were an asshole like that to me, then I would go to the Christmas party, and I will make it. I will ruin that Christmas party for everyone there, and just be like, "This is the motherfucker you're working for. Suck my balls." Oh, I mean, I would fucking ruin that shit. But you know what usually happens is other people will stop you before that happens because they know what's gonna happen. So they'll probably stop you at the door, be like, "Bro, you can't come in. You know you shouldn't be here at this party. Get the fuck out of here." Um, Usually, if they're smart. If they're not, then well, you need a handout. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hey, I mean, you. How do you know it might not be the best decision you made in every camp? It is probably. Oh yeah, yeah. That's another way you guys could possibly get out of this. I mean, we'll see. Well, we'll see it happen. So that's why hoping you guys aren't just gonna TPK. But hey, well, yeah. I mean, the hey, that whole segment was just all shenanigans. Uh, everything from yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at essentially. That just doesn't make sense, dude. Like, if my eyes explode, like any charm effect that's on my body is probably gonna go away. Oh, okay, okay. That makes more sense than my eyeballs exploding out of my head. Ah, oh, okay. I'm just like pop, pop. Oh shit. Hey, you know what? Like humanoid. So like, what's like? So like I don't know. Like a knoll creature would be considered like a humanoid, right? So like, isn't that a little sumptuous that like a humanoid nymph figure like that obviously looks like a human? Is that beautiful to a knoll? I don't know. I'm a big factor. I'm a big believer. Beauty is the eye of the beholder. I don't know there's a standard. That one eye just goes blind. They're like, oh fuck. It can't see out of those eyes, can it? No, see, beholders are one of those weird, trippy creatures that just don't really make sense to me. A lot like the Rosaka is an actual mythical creature. A lot of D&D creatures are, but uh, no, I got. But anyways, yeah. Hopefully you guys aren't like aiming towards the end. I mean, there's still a lot of game left, and so I definitely would love you guys to try to get out. All right, cool. Well, then I will do my dangest to keep it realistic, and if it does go into TPK, I think you guys have such a lot of potential to get out of it. To be honest, But I mean, if that was that or death, wouldn't you do that though? But he also loves surviving. He also wants to survive. He will fight dying. Oh, good night, Nene. See ya. Hmm. I don't know. I think anyone, even regardless of whatever status or station you are, I think anyone will do at least that much to survive. Like I think everyone will eat a piece of shit to survive. Everyone will. Like gun to the head. Oh, you're saying that idea of doing that.